I've been asked to briefly introduce Micael Grenholm here. Micael's from Sweden. He's been doing a training year with us since last August, and just to ask a few questions about it. Why do a training year? What was in your heart when you came over here?
Well, the reason I made a training year is to learn more about community. So 9 years ago, I read the New Testament. I realized that I ought to live in community. I ought not to be rich as a disciple of Jesus. I ought to share everything I have with the poor. And the problem was I didn't find any church that actually did that. I only found monasteries, and I didn't want to become a Catholic. So I was confused for a bit. But then I found the Jesus Army online. And from my point of view, back then in 2010, I thought this is actually the closest to a church like the New Testament that I've seen in Europe. So I came here 7 years ago at the Alive Festival back then, and I was amazed. I love the passion, the radicality, and also the fact that you had an evangelical church that's also charismatic. I love that. So then I did a few more trips in 2014, 2015, and back in the 2015 trip, I realized as soon as I came to Kettering that I was about to do a training year. So I started my training year last August, and we'll finish that on Wednesday.
Okay, and what have you been getting up to on your training year? How have you been spending your time?
I've been working at Goodness Direct and White and Bishop with video marketing, and also volunteering at the central offices with the creativity department. So I've done a bit of blogging and photographing. And in Kettering at Holy Treasure, I've been helping out, doing some Bible study cell group and preaching like that. Also an outreach initiative, I've been helping out with that.
Yeah. Still working on the washing up, aren't we? Anyway.
Oh, I've been doing the washing up, Mike, come on. Oh, this is embarrassing. I'm a good boy, guys. Don't believe him.
I think something else happened this year that you...
Yes, I got engaged. Woohoo! Yeah, so some of you have met Sarah. She's back in Sweden now. I took her to the farm, and I said, we're gonna have a look at New River and see, how they do community. So we went there, and lo and behold, there was a pony there that had a sign which said, will you marry me? And fortunately, she knew that it was from me, not the pony. So yeah, that was great. That was in February. Yeah.
How have you found us over this last year? You've been among us, living in community.
Yeah.
Us in Kettering, but us as a church. Was it how you thought it would be?
No, it was not. Because you're obviously in a time of struggle. And so I had expected to just sit in a nice sofa, drinking tea and just receiving all the inspiration. But I found myself, wanting to impact and, wanting to do stuff. So it's been a year of activity for me. And yeah, there's been a lot going on. This has made me think so much on how you build a community church movement. Because obviously it's not just about moving into houses and everything settled. There's a lot that needs to be done. And what I think has been good in the past, for example, having an outreach focus, being missional and evangelistic, I think that needs to be conserved or revitalized, because that can be healing as well, I think, when we reach out to new people, when our eyes is not just about the internal problems, but also reaching out to new souls. I think that will be beneficial for this church.
Yeah. What have you kind of learnt personally, either about yourself or about building Christian community over the year you've been here?
Yeah, it's been a lot. I realize how dependent I am on God and on other people. I'm not an island, and that has been very humbling. And in community, like we have in Holy Treasure, it becomes very transparent on who you are and what you're going through, and that has been eye-opening for me. And when it comes to community, as I said, it's not just about moving into your house. It's basically relationships. It's the community of the heart. But there's also been this very fascinating things which have made me even more excited about community. We went through the numbers, you and I, one evening. All the statistics. I love statistics. And just the fact that by living together in community houses, on average you lower your expenses by 30%. That's amazing. And when the world talks so much about the need of simplicity and being sustainable, being environmentally friendly, I think community is a very valuable way of doing that. So as I go back, I will push that button that I think community is very beneficial for us living simply.
So you're going back to Sweden.
Yeah.
To establish a community there with Sarah
Yes.
and other folk.
Exactly.
And getting married.
Yeah, exactly.
Later this year.
Yeah, in September.
Any farewell word for us? Any particular thing you want to say to us?
Yeah, I love you guys. You're amazing. And as I said, I mean, this church really has the potential to live out a New Testament lifestyle, and you should not lose that. I mean, you should value and nurture community, I think, and also, as I said, be more outreach focused again, because I think that when we go out, when we do stuff publicly to reach out to new people, we also train ourselves. It's not just about reaching new souls, although that is admittedly very good, but it also does something in our own spirits. It trains ourselves. It's not just about spreading a message. It's about making disciples, and we can actually make disciples while we go out as well. So that's an encouragement from my side. Continue to go out and do outreach in creative and various ways, but please do it, because I think that's on God's heart.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.